Which of these do you think is worse for you? I've been rummaging around at the bottom of Jonathan's bag. We've got a cigarette
in my bag?
And chocolate. I found them. They were just there. They must be yours. Here to answer that question, cardiologist Asim Malhotra. I think, which one is bad for us? I'd go for the cigarette every time in terms of what's bad for you, not that I'd light it up.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think to answer it, I think the first thing to say is that one cigarette won't kill you, and neither will 1 teaspoon of sugar. But if you look at it in perspective now globally, poor diet contributes to more disease and death than physical inactivity, smoking, and alcohol combined. But one of the major issues, if we reflect on how we're going to overcome this crisis that we have with obesity and all the associated diseases, is we need to learn lessons from how we dealt with tobacco consumption. And in fact, the decline in tobacco consumption over the last 3 decades is probably the single biggest factor driving down death rates in heart disease. And we can apply the same principles in dealing with the excess sugar consumption and processed foods as we did with tobacco, but that will need government regulation. One of the other issues as well, Sarah Jane, is that the labelling on sugar for the consumers is very confusing, and in fact is misleading. Before that, obviously we don't want to name a particular brand, but each of those 4 sort of slices or whatever you want to call it of
chunks, 4 squares,
4 squares of chocolate have around 4 teaspoons of added sugar.
Wow.
Now, the recommendation that we have proposed in a recent editorial should be no more than probably 3 teaspoons a day for the average person, and the average UK citizen is consuming at least 4 times that amount daily.
I know some people that have 3 teaspoons in their cup of tea, so imagine how many they're having a day, plus all the sugar in their food as well.
Are they builders?
They are actually.
I mean, you're not seriously considering putting like images of tooth decay on packets of chocolate, are you? Like you see with lung disease on packets of cigarettes.
Jonathan, I think that's actually a very good point. I think we should do that. If you look at, I'm glad you brought up tooth decay, because actually the most common cause of chronic pain and hospital admissions in children, in young children in this country, is tooth decay. The single driving factor behind that is sugar, and even small amounts contribute to that. So it's very interesting. We looked at research in certain parts of Africa, like Nigeria, where there is absolutely no sugar consumption in their population traditionally, maybe half a teaspoon a day, no tooth decay whatsoever. You go to America and look at the adult population there, between people aged between 20 and 64, 92% of that population has tooth decay. So just to protect children, if nothing else, I think we need to have these sorts of warnings.
Very hard to give it up though. So it's very hard
doing it at the moment.
to give up sugar completely. And how's that going?
I'm a week in and I'm doing okay, but I gave it up for 3 months before and I've never felt better. But I fell off the wagon spectacularly around my birthday and now I'm trying to get back into it. But it's amazing. You feel so much more alert, you don't feel sluggish, and you lose weight. I mean, it's amazing.
I admit to be probably a reformed or a sugar addict. I mean, I calculated going back maybe 10, 15 years, I was probably consuming close to 40 teaspoons of sugar a day.
Oh my word.
In all, sugary drinks, running in the gym, all that kind of stuff, thinking it was good for me. But I went cold turkey, and within a couple of weeks I found I don't crave it anymore. And of course, yes, nothing wrong with the occasional treats, we all like that. But the problem is we're consuming it in so many foods that we don't even realise have sugar in them.
It's hidden.
And it's affecting the whole population and causing devastating consequences for health. So I think, Theresa May and the government really need to step up to the plate and act to reduce sugar consumption.
Okay, Asim Malhotra, thank you very much for coming and explaining that to us. Read the back of packaging, because it's hidden, it's everywhere, sugar, it's everywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I do love a rich tea biscuit though.
Just 1 a day, Jackie, that's your allowance.
Half. Do you like a poppy? That's the big question we're asking in the sport today, because FIFA don't. We'll be discussing why not, and also this.